eat.
I'm gonna make a drink.
Oh god.
The switch will flip.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your twice-monthly podcast that's temporarily delivering the juice on Joe. This is episode 102. We will be covering from the 1 hour, 2 minute, and 26 second mark to about the 1 hour, 11. We'll just round up and say 112 is where we're going to end up in this piece. Pack it up, pack it in. Let us begin this episode. I am your host, Aaron, and with me are two men who came to win. Battling them would most definitely be a sin. They're the cream of the crop. They rise to the top. And do not try to play them out because their names are not Sega. Gentlemen, don't go out like a punk bitch. Switch up your style and introduce yourselves.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Caleb.
That was easy. What are we doing here, G.I. Joe the movie? And after this episode, there's only 2, maybe 3 episodes left.
Maybe 3. I would say probably 2 is about right.
So that means one.
Because there are credits. We're not going to do credits.
I got a side message from All Hail, and she actually said that she wishes that we could continue reviewing G.I. Joe.
Oh, just to go into the series?
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if she'll even hear this.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll do that then. Thanks. All Hail, for that suggestion.
Yep. Thank you very much. It's not going to be the Auto Decepticast.
That's on you, Haley.
All right. Last episode, we talked about the possibility for us going to TFCon DC. Any updates on that? Do we want to go?
Oh, yeah. I do want to go.
Of course
I think the major component's going to be whether I can financially justify it because Chicago was a little much for me.
Okay. Well, let's figure out how to do it on the cheap.
Well, we
can Airbnb
for it. Airbnb creeps me out.
What? Airbnb's great. I've actually Airbnb twice in Washington, D.C. and had really good experiences both times.
Do you go through their stuff?
No.
See, I definitely have to go through their stuff.
Well, that's not the
spirit of Airbnb.
Then it's like it's the opposite of you being creeped out. It's you creeping people.
That's an Airbnb.
Well, and that's why I don't put myself in situations where I'm allowed to be tempted.
Well, then here's what I think: you should stay somewhere different than where me and Aaron stay. Maybe the car.
Drive your van.
Oh heavens to Betsy! I would love it to see how far I'd get before that thing explodes.
He wouldn't make it through West Virginia in that thing.
It has some.
I don't know if he'd make it through West Tennessee.
Yeah.
It has some fun and interesting new problems. Caleb, whenever I picked up your wife the other day.
What?
That's right. She was on the corner.
Oh, okay. Well, that's terrible.
Well, I was supposed to pick her up from
I get it.
medical.
Yeah, you were helping out. Thank you.
Exactly. And so whenever I went to start my van, the key would not turn at all. Like it was locked, and I know sometimes you turn the wheel and it'll nothing was happening. So I ended up beating the shit out of the steering column with my ice scraper, which eventually worked. But it looks like now that I've broken into a vehicle and hot-wired it. So sometimes when it locks like that, all I have to do now is just gently nudge the key and it'll work. But
Ryan has a history of just owning and driving dumpsters on fire
until they die.
Yeah.
Do you think this car will pass inspection?
I think at this point it will. Yeah.
You know, it's such a piece of garbage. You should customize it like those crazy people do. You should paint on it murals and stuff
that's
like
ridiculous.
that. It's like some heavy metal type.
I have thought about building cabinets and stuff in it. Do you remember when Melody gave me that mattress to get rid of?
I was getting ready to bring this up because my wife made a comment about this.
Yeah.
She goes,
what'd she say?
She said, Ryan has just a bed mattress in the back of the van. And she goes, he just goes out and takes naps in it on his lunch break. And she goes, it's gross. It doesn't have any sheets on it or anything. It's just a raw mattress. And so Ryan has, and could you please explain to the listeners how you acquired this and why it's in your van?
Melody wanted me to take it to the dump, and she gave me $15 to dispose of it because that's the charge, and I have just kept it in there because it's fun.
I put it in your back of your van because we got new beds for the girls, and we didn't need that stinky old mattress anymore.
Yeah.
And give me that $15.
Well, I technically have disposed of it.
I guess. Yes, that's true.
So
you can do those at the recycling center down on.
You're explaining to Ryan how he knows how it to be done, but he just doesn't want to.
Away.
I do. I go out on my lunch break sometimes and sleep in it. Which is also weird because I have to find a place to park where I'm like, I don't think the people beside me are going to leave because I open the sliding doors so I can get a draft through. So if anybody walks by...
You take a nap and both of the sliding doors are open
yes.
so you get a cross freeze?
Yeah. So if anybody walks by, there I am in all my glory.
Has that happened?
Yeah, man. It's a big office.
Nothing feels more homeless than this. So I would give anything to catch you in this moment. I'm going to start driving.
I'm going to go over there
up to the old airport over lunch.
We got to get pictures and post this online.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
So basically, you're going to go to DC, but if you do, it's going to be on that kind of budget.
I guess, yeah. Well, so I guess I don't need a room.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
I just need someone to tow the van up there.
It's always nap time.
Nothing's ever easy.
Maybe we'll hitch it to the back of the plane that we're on.
I think it should be I think we should try to get that van out there, and if it breaks down, we just leave it.
Then I need a car then.
Well, let's get you something better than what you have now.
Well, it's got to be free or less.
It has to have a mattress in it.
It doesn't have
my
to.
mattress.
If that van ever dies, you probably won't get rid of it because you're a hoarder, and you could put it in your basement and try and make a room out of it.
He's totally going to drive that van around to the side of the house and just still sleep on the mattress.
That's crazy. You guys are silly.
Or you could turn it into a transformer. You could take it apart, do some welding. And
that seems like...
Oh, that takes work.
That's the price of a car right there.
All right.
No, the last car I had that died, I just had those people come pick it up and they take it away.
Okay. Well,
I'd probably turn this... I don't have the seat... Obviously, with the mattress, I don't have the seats in it. They're in my garage, so I'd probably use those for some kind of something. I have a shopping cart now.
let me count off the really weird things that Ryan has. He's got a really old wheelchair.
He's had that for like
10
20
years.
Yeah, more than that.
We had that since we lived together.
I remember we used to have it at the house, and we'd just roll around in it at parties.
Yeah.
And there was one guy at a party who got really angry and huffy about it because his mother had MS,
right.
And he felt like Ryan was being disrespectful to the spirit of his mother.
I can see where he went there, but if you know Ryan just likes to
It was
sit
just a
down.
wheelchair.
It's just a chair on wheels.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I don't like that because it's disrespectful to FDR, my favorite president.
It would be like if I were voluntarily doing dialysis but didn't need it.
Ryan sees a chair with wheels and he's like, "Let's go."
Give me that.
So there's that. Ryan has, and frankly, a lot of this stuff is really cool. It's just weird and nonsensical. He has this bar. I don't know if you got it on Craigslist,
yeah,
but it looks like it's straight out of Los Angeles, 1983.
Yes.
Black onyx with like silver trim and mirrors, and there's a big.
It's something you'd see on Scarface.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do coke off of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is magnificent, and it's in your house.
Yeah, it's in my living room.
Oh, that's right. It moved up. It was.
I brought it up there without authorization.
Oh, really? Okay.
West was asleep, and she woke up the next day, and it was in there. And I'm like, "Yeah, it's ensconced, bitch."
You don't like it, you move it.
She's grown to like it.
How did you do that by yourself? That's a big piece of equipment.
He's motivated by it.
If you're motivated, you can do
He's
anything.
motivated
The
by
sky's the
certain-
limit, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, he won't get rid of a mattress out of his van, but he'll move an entire bar from his basement to his living room.
I'm trying to think what other sort of weird stuff you have. I mean, a shopping cart. What's the story behind that?
It was on the side of the road right near my house for like a week, and I've always wanted a shopping cart. This is my homeless dream, I guess. No, I've always wanted a shopping cart because I thought I could turn it into a cart I could pull behind a bike, for shopping trips and stuff. But then I got the cart and it's solid steel, and I'm like, I don't have the equipment to do this. So now
it would totally, dude. It would totally fall over while you're trying to pull it behind you.
Well, no, I wouldn't use the wheels on it. I would basically saw off the bottom part, put the basket on like a wood plank with bigger wheels, like bike wheels.
Yeah, I would probably just buy a cart that you can pull behind a bike.
But this was free.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You're right. Okay.
Could your dad make that for me?
My dad will not do anything for you.
The weasel.
He has welding
The
equipment.
weasel and the milkman.
My dad would look at this and like, why the hell are we doing this? He wants me to do what?
Tell him to go to hell and die.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm sure there's other things. I can't think of them right now, and I'm sure that everybody would rather we get into the last episode
sorry.
recap.
That was fun.
So, last episode, the Joes mount a failed escape from Cobra Law with only Roadblock escaping with his slippery, scaly sidekick in tow. Say it, Caleb.
Once a man.
The renegades chow down on endless racks of pork ribs while Falcon huffs his hoofs to his new home, and a training montage ensues, and then the renegades get commissioned. Infiltrate the Techno-Drome, and bonus points if you do it without weapons. The Baroness does a knockout job of finding out where the B.E.T is hidden, and the renegades infiltrate the Techno-Drome. Falcon attempts a transmission, gets captured, gets the fuck beat out of him. He is holding out for the bomb to go off that was set in the armory.
5 more minutes.
That's right. We open up at 1:02:26. The renegades are re-infiltrating the Techno-Drome. We'll remember that Sergeant Slaughter leaves no one behind. They're going to rescue Falcon from this torture scenario. We see some cool shots of them blasting through some Vipers.
Not Vipers, bats.
Oh, that's right. They're battle android troopers.
We
see
see
their
one-
chest, and we
one of
see
their-
one decapitated.
Their head on the ground.
They're not
yes.
going to do that if they're real people. And the Joes charge the throne room where Nemesis Enforcer is preparing to dispatch Falcon. And he throws Falcon some 30, 40 feet. I believe that would kill him.
I think dislocated arm.
Something.
That's
that-
it?
I don't think it would
Humans
kill
are
him.
pretty
I
resilient.
don't think it would kill him, but it's something to get broken.
I would say that arm's probably fucked
Unless it
up.
lands on his head.
Yeah,
Right.
that might be a problem.
I'll go with it. Red Dog sends a couple of flesh wounds at
Well,
Zaymar
first
and
of all,
Tomax here.
The Nemesis Enforcer throws a squid straight up into Sergeant Slaughter's face.
Which this, I was really curious. Like we were all talking about, like how does he keep his shades on during the fight with Nemesis Enforcer? This explains it right here. The whatever that thing is, that alien-looking thing, pretty much holds his glasses in place.
Yes, exactly.
It's true.
Shade protectors.
Yeah.
It's true.
Tough shades.
That's the name of the company.
Tough shades. I wear tough shades. Staple into my face.
After this squid gets thrown on Sergeant Slaughter's face, Nemesis Enforcer gives him a few good uppercuts and hooks. We see, at this point, Red Dog send some flesh wounds at
That's not
Zaymar
Red
and
Dog.
Tomax. Is it not?
Nope,
Which
Red
one is
Dog's
that?
the other guy. That is, I don't know his name.
Murphy.
Mercer? Yep.
We're really good at
That's
this.
him. It's the ex-Cobra guy.
So he fires at some of his former officers. And
Yeah, and there's one thing that struck me also is that, like, it's a scene, they are just flesh wounds, but it is a rare scene where you see someone actually get hurt.
At this point, then, they fire at Serpentor, the renegades.
Mhm.
I'm not going to try and remember their names. They're all fighting.
It doesn't matter.
And Serpentor, he cowers at this point.
He does.
Help me.
He does instantly say, "Help, Nemesis Enforcer."
A very quick turn to cowardice.
And yeah, I think it seems a rare, like, I don't remember that happening before or since in the context of him being a coward.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It felt a little
Usually
out of
he's-
character.
I know he's a lot of talk. But yeah, that was an unusual move on his part. But I
Yeah.
guess they had to have a reason to have Nemesis Enforcer stop beating the
fucking
shit
up
out of
Sergeant Slaughter.
I mean, he could have murdered him right there. We've got, so Nemesis ditches Sergeant Slaughter to help out Serpentor. The Drows regroup. We've got Falcon up here to help out Sergeant Slaughter. He easily pulls the squid from his face. At this moment, Sergeant Slaughter looks like Freddie Mercury.
I want to break free.
Hey guys, want to listen to some Queen?
I want to ride my bicycle.
Okay, I'm glad this is all working out.
Yeah.
Even better.
Scaramouche.
To the Fandango.
Okay, so everybody's leaving. The bomb gets down to 0. There's some excellent explosion animation.
This whole
at this
explosion
point.
sequence is amazing. It looks so good.
From the internal, we see explosions chasing Vipers down the hallway from outside the Techno-Drome, which does look like there's dry land around it. But so there's some explosions there.
Wait, hold on. Go back.
Sounds like somebody's pissing.
Go to where the Techno-Drome's starting to explode. Look at the ground again. Are those like electrical cables?
Those are the extension cords they're running to power.
It does look like through the swamp they're stealing power from someone.
There's some like little swamp shack that's like, man, my electric bill's high.
$200,000.
It's just they don't with all the terrorist money they've got, they can't afford cable. Serpentor's like,
They're just stealing it.
get me the Bachelor.
Yeah, it's like
This I command. Thanks, guys.
there's
for
so
that.
many cables
On that
going.
one.
That's why you can workshop that.
Explosions from the top of the Techno-Drome. The Joes are getting in their red boats, which names I'm blanking out on, and escaping as the Techno-Drome. I thought they were just blowing out the armory. Turns out they're fucking decimating.
They fucked that thing up.
And how long has the Techno-Drome been, I guess, the de facto Cobra headquarters? Do you guys remember?
Buzz Dixon addresses this a little bit in the commentary.
Okay. All right, we'll wait for it.
And I have a topic about this once the Joe base gets attacked by cobras.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. The shockwaves even into the water are really cool as the Joes depart the scene here and the waves catch up to them. You just see it's what was the Techno-Drome is now a smoking hole in the ocean.
You happen to posit it.
It's a nice spray.
Yeah, that 10343 basically, and the sea spray is really neat.
You know, the animation in this movie is good.
It's quite good. It's quite consistently good.
Yeah. I would say consistently better than Transformers the movie, but I've drawn some hate from people for my saying that in the past.
Well, I said that. I think it's consistently better. I think the highs are better in Transformers and the lows are worse.
Yeah.
But this is consistently better.
I still stand by it. You know who you are, Michael Andrews.
Oh, well, we'll never figure it out.
Oh, hey, by the way, I finished reading Coming of Mage.
I'm taking it with me on my vacation.
I read it. Good book.
Yeah,
Coming of
I
Mage.
enjoyed it a lot. I talked to him a little bit about Michael Andrews' book, Coming of Mage. Go to Amazon. You can pick it up. It's great. I talked to him a little bit about his possibility of doing sequels because it definitely ends.
Yeah.
It
It
ends in a place where the story could continue.
Yeah, it leaves totally.
We should have book clubbed this, guys. Why didn't we book club it?
But do you want to do a Coming of Age series, like where we have a
Chapter by chapter?
chapter by chapter breakdown of Coming of Age?
Are you ready for this?
Da-na-na.
Pizza tossing, Mike.
Michael motorcycle.
Chapter 1, Alchemy Heights, summer 1986. Summer of 1986.
Yeah, it takes place in the 80s.
I think we should do an audiobook version of it where we have we can read it and narrate it in the voice of Sergeant Slaughter
And Starscream.
That's funny for a minute.
All right, there you go.
I don't know why you needed the book to make that comment.
Because I was gonna do some reading, like she poured out some of the iodized salt onto the restaurant table and pressed her thumb into it. Whoa! I told her. Nice.
I hate it already.
See?
I'm instantly upset.
All right. Well,
Anyway, yes, ladies and gentlemen, go out to Amazon and get Coming of Mage by Michael Andrews. It's a book about wizards set in the 1980s. It's great.
It's good stuff.
I really, really enjoyed it, and that's not just because we're friends.
right. And I'm going to read it on vacation, Michael. I haven't gotten to it. Hopefully my opinion's different because I want to be different from these guys.
You'd be like, burn it to the ground.
That's right. So the Techno-Drome has exploded. All the Cobras are dead. Psych. There's an extra super secret pit in the bottom of the Techno-Drome.
Yeah, the Cobra panic room.
That they come out of and open up, and it is revealed that at the very least, the executive leadership has survived this explosion.
It's a real situation where they sent up Air Force One to circle the planet while the White House got fucked up.
Yeah. He wants the Joe's heads. He commands it.
This I command.
Back to the B.E.T. Cobra is launching a full-on, I'll say, Statue of Liberty scale attack on the facility in which this B.E.T. is housed.
Immediately. I guess they had some reserve troops at another base.
Right. Some ancillary troops. At about 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 9 seconds, there's a really faint voice you can hear. There's just a random, security guy who says, perimeters are secured, sir, but he sounds drunk and he says it like, perimeters are secured, sir. It just made me laugh.
And he's obviously wrong.
Yes, instantly proven wrong.
So I have an issue with the fact that these guys know really well where each other's bases are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the Baroness gave this information up.
That's
You'll
true. This
recall
is
from
not
the last
technically a
episode.
Joe base. It's a civilian security area.
This isn't the Joe base.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe,
But the
all
Joes did know where the Techno-Drome was.
Terradrome.
Techno-Drome. Have I been saying Techno-Drome?
No,
I don't think so.
I hope I have.
I don't know. So anyway, yeah, they're quick to attack each other. And
Also, though, it wouldn't be that hard to
fuck stuff
figure
up.
out with every Joe vehicle parked around a civilian security base.
And they're driving back. to
And
the
as
base.
we'll see, there have to be a lot of Joes close by because they show up very quickly.
That is something I
as
have an
well.
issue with also, yes.
So, civilian base, but Cobra is attacking hard. It does not take long for them to breach this perimeter at all. It's not that secure. The soldiers engage a security dome of sorts to cover the B.E.T. and prevent its theft. I wonder how much this private base is charging the government for this.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, they should have just bought it.
Yeah.
Duke and Hawk, they assemble a counterattack. We see some vehicles, including, I always have to look these up, including a Mauler, an AWE Striker, Havoc, an LCV Recon Sled, and we'll see Duke riding what is known as an Armadillo.
Armadillo. I feel like General Hawk shouldn't be piloting a fighter.
Probably not. I don't know that Duke should be
Absolutely.
unprotected on top of this crazy single-man tank thing.
I don't think that Serpentor should be flying a jet either.
That's true.
None of these people should be operating any of his equipment.
From the skies, we see Conquests and Tomahawks taking off here. I guess nobody is watching the Rawhides because they've been ditched. Jinx hot wires.
She can do everything.
And she tries to. Well, she is a mechanic, as we see.
As we've seen.
She works these things. She hot wires it to try and start up. No luck. And I think there's a switch flipping scene here that I feel might have been rotoscoped.
Oh, okay. Let's watch.
That
Maybe.
that little
looked
piece.
pretty good.
I will say, this made me question, like, can you hotwire a helicopter? Do helicopters have to have keys? And I did look it up, and it turns out, yes, according to Mike Freeman, U.S. Marine Corps retired, since the 1970s, all U.S. military helicopters have keys to engage the ignition circuitry. So they don't start it, but you have to have the key to be able to start
Complete
it. So
the
I guess
circuit.
she does. Pilots, if I'm wrong, let me know. But then she says, the first one to talk about my bad luck gets a knuckle massage.
Yeah, that
That doesn't sound like a bad
No,
thing.
I would like a knuckle massage.
It sounded like something you requested Tokyo Sauna.
Yeah, we know what that is.
Yes.
Springfield, Missouri.
Listeners, Tokyo
Alumni.
Sauna was a purportedly a massage
I don't think
parlor
reportedly.
that they did get busted a bunch. That you could get,
countless times.
stuff. So there was a special menu.
I, as a high school student, actually went in the building of
What?
Tokyo Sun.
Oh,
I remember this.
I gotta hear about this.
It's not much of a story. I was with a group of friends, my North Springfield friends. That
Where my Northies at?
That would have been Joe, Peabody, some cousins of his, and some people he ran with, and people his brother ran
So
with.
you guys were like, let's go.
I was probably 15, 16 maybe, and we were just wanting booze. We were bold enough. We were like stationed in front of grocery stores and asking strangers to buy us alcohol.
Is this still a thing?
that-
Listeners, can that still work? Do
Did
you
that-
just
did
ask?
that work?
No, it didn't work. But we
It used to
thought
for some people.
logic in our heads was that maybe we could ask the people at Tokyo Sauna to buy it. For
Why?
Why? Because they're deviants?
Because they're already doing illegal
Right.
things. Maybe they would.
That's
buy
like
some
going to
booze
a crack den
for
to get
minors.
pirated DVDs.
Oh, I'm sure we didn't come off as undercover
So
police
Wow.
operations at
So
all.
you were brave enough to go to
We went in. I can't remember who went in with me, but I was in the building. It was very velvety, red lighty, and silky.
Yes.
There were about 10 women in the very opening room. I mean, it's a small building. There were about 10 women in the lobby room area, which basically looked like a living room.
Yes.
And they
a
were all
massage
sitting around
parlor. It's a
but they were
massage
all
parlor.
sitting around in silky negligees and And they didn't speak English very well, of course.
Yeah.
And I just remember trying to ask the question
To go buy,
God.
could you go buy me alcohol?
Yeah, and they don't know what we're saying.
They probably,
at all.
they probably,
didn't
they
understand
probably
anything
weren't allowed
we
to
were
leave
asking.
the building.
So yeah, your plan
No,
is
it was a really stupid plan.
you
I
come with
definitely
me to a second location to illegally purchase an underage person.
They probably couldn't. They probably couldn't.
There might have been a liquor store right next door. I can't remember. It was in like a really seedy strip.
Yeah.
And then the madam comes out with an eye patch and a real long cigarette holder. It's like, I'll buy you alcohol.
That didn't happen, unfortunately.
It did, yeah, and then that place got shut down and then turned into Happy Sauna, which then also got shut down.
Right. I haven't driven that part of town in a while. I don't know.
I don't even remember where it was.
I think it's now called Empty Sauna.
It's north side. I want to say it's north Glenstone.
It's north of
So everybody go check that out.
Well, see if you can find some Tokyo Sauna stuff to put on.
I will.
Hang on a second. Let me just do a little. Oh, hello, Kim Fields from our last Google search. YP.com.
Oh, look. Go back again. Go back again. Look. Hong Kong Spa.
Now it's called
Hong Kong Spa.
It has 2 stars.
Google reviews.
I'm gonna see. It refuses to die. This is amazing.
Wow.
I want to see the reviews.
They don't have a website, unfortunately.
Rip off. Paid for an hour massage and never got a massage. They let me just lay there. They told me they would be right back. A few minutes, she back in the room. Then, oh sorry, I go eat lunch now. I will be back. I like the one below it. We'll be going back. 3 stars.
3 stars! It's
Well, the
her hands were too rough. 1
Anyway,
star.
The legacy of
alive.
Tokyo Sauna. All this came from the word
I'm glad I brought that up.
knuckle massage. Thank you very much,
Knuckle
Jinx,
massage, yeah.
who also is of Asian heritage. This is a very unfortunate conversation.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So she's trying to hotwire that. Let's get back on this.
Yeah.
Trying to hotwire the helicopter.
The battle,
Oh.
the battle commences. No one is really getting hurt very badly. Duke leads the tanks at full speed when a disgusting Cobra Law tentacle trap is sprung, which engulfs Duke's tank. And I don't know what filthy cloaca did this foul trap come from.
I had some stuff before that. Right here, General Hawk says, I can see the whites of their beady little eyes, which I thought was the weirdest line. And I know he's referring to the line, don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes, which is from William Prescott from the Battle of Bunker Hill. But that's not really, that means don't fire until you're sure, but that doesn't really work in a jet. Like, it just doesn't, the line doesn't make any sense to me.
He is General Hawk. He probably has really good eyesight.
I guess so.
And also that happens after what I just saw happen.
No, it doesn't.
It's happening right now.
Yeah. You haven't gotten to the part you were talking about
I
yet.
just watched it happen. Because they're firing at those goofy Oh, never mind. This argument is documented, and my wrongness is documented.
Point has been given to me.
The Cobra
It
Law...
does make that sound.
The Cobra Law Air Force, whose cannons literally make quick, high-speed farting noises when fired.
Yeah,
They're like
and-
armpit farts.
And I'm just waiting for Ryan to go to town on this scene.
Go to town?
These ships look like the result of a fuck sesh between cicadas and pterodactyls.
Okay, Aaron just did it for us. All right.
They reminded me of crane flies in some way.
The
Stop
Jo-
it.
The Joes try to shoot them down. It's proving problematic. We go back to the rawhides.
Oh my god.
Chuckles starts the chopper by just spinning the front
Like
leg
a
of
World
his
War
hands.
One biplane.
I will say this: Chuckles, and watching
He's earning that rep.
is probably is a very intriguing character because so far he's had no lines.
I don't know if he speaks in this movie.
He took a missile and threw it at a target.
Yep.
And now he's about to ride on top of a helicopter.
Did he not have a line during the training scene?
No.
Nope.
He has not spoken yet.
And he didn't have a
He never
line
does.
during the introduction in the lineup?
Nope.
I don't think he speaks at all in this
He just
movie.
does crazy stuff like he's going to ride on top of this helicopter.
Okay, we've uncovered that Chuckles has no voice actor, so he does not speak in this movie.
But he does crazy, crazy things.
Chuckles starts the chopper by spinning the front blade with his hands. And even less OSHA approved is how he hangs on
rides
for
it.
dear life. Well, like a drunk on a mechanical bull. Only this is a chopper, and he could be decapitated. But Chuckles is crazy. They join the fight, mind you. Chuckles is firing a pistol.
A pistol at aircraft
from the top of the tomahawk here.
Everything it's like 3 levels of insanity.
That would make it, oh my god! Can I see that again real quick? I just gotta see that one shot. It's just he's like
very very over the top.
It is a good thing that Chuckles is strong and pretty because he is not the brightest dude.
No, he's not a smart person.
They get hit by one of these tentacle cannons, and they're going down. Let's watch it happen.
Like once again, emulating the Autobots, they crash into a building in an uncontrolled landing.
So they are going down. They crash very hard.
Oh, they're 100% dead.
Chuckles was on the outside of that chopper. Oh my god! When it crashes through that building.
Yeah, and he's the one who helps them all out.
That is a monster crash, but they're
all
okay.
Even for a cartoon, I feel like this is straining credulity. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, they should not be alive. One thing I will notice as they're crashing in here, I think in this particular 10 minutes that we're watching, there's a few, I don't know if I want to call them nods to Transformers the movie, but borrowed equity perhaps. And there's a scene where we go into Big Lob's eye and then kind of go back out is very reminiscent to me of the Hot Rod jumping from the top of Lookout Mountain and then landing at the bottom. More of that kind of madness later. That was also a fully animated sequence where the whole, like, everything's animated.
Yeah.
There's not really any painted backgrounds. It's all just hand drawn.
Really hard to do. Impressive.
Yeah, it's a very cool scene, even though everybody should be dead.
Yes. And then the good old Dreadnoks show up.
Who?
I've decided to do a third pronunciation.
Oh, okay, good. We need more of those. So yes, the Dreadnoks bust in on. Do you know what that machine is called that they're on?
A web weaver.
It's the front of it's a Trans Am.
Yeah, it does look like an old Camaro or old Trans Am.
Am.
It is called the Thunder Machine.
I love it.
That's a terrible
is
name.
what they are.
Yeah.
The one of the fun things in doing this and getting the notes together, because I remember barely any of the characters' names and none of the vehicle names, is to go to the G.I. Joe toy websites. And I use those to basically look up, and and the toys are so, unlike what you see in the Transformers world, the toys are so accurate to what we see.
Oh, they're
on
so
screen.
fucking awesome.
Like the vehicles.
They look
are just,
really nice.
To be fair,
awesome.
they don't have to transform.
That's, we'll give them that
But
credit.
they got good detail on them.
Yeah.
When I used to put the stickers on them, it was real specific. And, a lot of the fun with buying those G.I. Joe toys is putting the stickers in just the right places. And
It's good for people with ADD. OCD is what I meant.
And this was an awesome looking toy, and it's an awesome looking design. I feel like there's something very Mad Max about.
Absolutely.
Dreadnoughts are very...
And they're like, what, Australian?
Yeah.
Cockney? We don't know what they are. New
We do.
Zealand?
Actually, we know 100% they're Australian.
I don't know about
they're
that.
a mashup.
They're not.
No, I don't know about the Dreadnoughts accent.
Or you do know about the Dreadnoks accent. You don't know about Dreadnoks accent.
I don't know where he's coming from.
He's coming from a little bit of everywhere.
Yep.
Maybe he's well traveled. I don't know.
We'll definitely never know.
Maybe you guys can ask him next time he shows up on the scene, but that won't be today.
Oh, God,
more Cobras show up in their Ravens. More great shots reminiscent of Transformers the movie here. We see that's a lot of shots not
They
hitting.
missed that vehicle. They held on that vehicle at like 1 hour, 7 minutes, like 8 seconds. They held on a vehicle getting shot at and nothing happened.
Yeah. We see Falcon. He's yelling.
That is Hawk.
Or I'm sorry, that's Hawk. Yeah.
General Hawk.
General Hawk yelling some shit. Yeah, he's Falcon's father in an alternative universe. Shots from behind him. It's the Cobras. It's the Ravens. They brought in their own air support here. And we're going to zoom in and see a very, again, reminiscent of Transformers the movie shot.
Much more, yeah.
Okay, you're not giving me credit for the big lob thing. Very good. Serpentor behind the red glass of his Raven.
So, guys, did you know that in submarines and war rooms, they have these red lights that allow them to see in low light?
Yes.
I don't know if I've mentioned that before.
Did you mention it about the Junkion sequence of Transformers the movie?
No, he's talking about
man.
the plane that
Galvatron
was flying.
Right, that's at the Junkion sequence of Transformers.
Oh, well, it was first in Autobot City.
Oh, it was. You're right.
Yes.
Okay, my apologies.
Yeah, so, but in this one, it really is red inside, as we'll see in a minute.
Okay. Flying in.
I thought you guys would give me more shit about that because I mentioned it and you were like, it's not red inside in Transformers. And so I was trying to get you to attack me, but you were just like, boring.
I don't have a very good memory.
And I don't really care.
Yeah, so it's bad all around.
2 for 2. But I appreciate you tossing it up in the air for us to...
Yeah. To just
Let it
whiff
fall.
at it.
No, let it fall back to the ground.
Yep.
Thud.
Yep.
Cobra-
As they do, I'm sorry, just one more thing. As they do mention, Buzz mentions later, the Cobra la 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 trill in Serpentor's voice sounds fucking stupid.
It does. He does sound terrible at it. It's embarrassing to have him do it.
He should never do it. Another derivative shot from the Raven here that feels very Transformers the movie is this head-on, the way they're coming at us and with the extreme force shortening also reminds me of Starscream firing on Springer and RC. I don't know if they were literally borrowing or they're just, pretty good. You're making filmmakers, you're doing storyboards, you're looking for dramatic shots.
Yeah, I think they're illustrators, and there's certain things that work well.
I think the red light, maybe that is more borrowing, but this, like the force perspective and stuff, I think just makes it look more dramatic. It's just the storytelling aspect.
Well, it does. Cobra Law releases some real fucked up shit.
Are these things? I think they're called Marauders.
Yes, they deploy the Marauders,
which are big, spiky worm things.
Yeah, I was going to say they
Thank you, Caleb.
I just to borrow from Cobra Law terminology, they should have called them the serpents of voluminous capacity.
Very well done.
Because these things are building-sized, bug-eyed worms.
I just used them.
I have this in my notes.
They should have led off with them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cobra Law Biotech seems far superior to what they gave Cobra Commander out there in the world to use.
Yeah. Well, he was set up for failure. And then he was
and they punished for failure.
Oh, God.
So, and what makes them even more advantageous is they have the ability to materialize inside the building.
Yeah, anywhere.
They go inside the building and just bust it out.
They come from underneath the building.
That's right. Underneath, inside,
they're like
out.
Trimmers.
Exactly.
Great movie.
Mm-hmm. Never seen.
Oh my God.
What? How is that possible? It was
I saw Tremors 3.
Why?
Oh, no.
Well, then you didn't get it. You didn't understand what had come before.
The original Tremors is the only one really worth watching.
So these things are big. There's at least 3 of them. One emerges under Duke and throws his havoc to the side. Which I guess he just found laying around after his tank got jammed up.
Whatever.
The Marauders, they blow up more vehicles before ultimately penetrating the main building where the B.E.T. is housed.
Yeah, these Marauders are like, okay.
It does seem like why even bring any vehicles?
Right.
They're so badass.
Just go send those.
They're super overpowered. And then we have...
I like how they don't even try to let a Marauder take a shot at the dome, though. Maybe because they're afraid to damage the B.E.T.
It's the same way, like, they do have the 3 OG Dreadnoks here attack it, and I was like, why didn't they just use explosives like they did before? But I guess, you don't want to damage the B.E.T.
You gotta be...
And it's hilarious. They have Buzzer with his modded chainsaw, and the Monkey Wrench with his flamethrower, and the Ripper who just has
a bayonet.
A fucking medieval pike. Which, I will say, though, when I looked this up, these are their traditional weapons that came with them.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
And then the Nemesis Force was like, spread out, you bunch of lily hammers.
Yeah, and uses his elbow spikes to penetrate the seams of the thing, and he's strong and shit. So so he pulls that away.
Oh, blimey!
Is blimey more of a British phrase or is it Australian?
It's ostrich.
It's ostrich.
It's ostrich. That's from Africa.
Absolutely. Nemesis Enforcer, he's on the scene. He uses his can opener elbows. Duke, we switch to outside the BET. He just grabs a cannon
I know.
from the side. This vehicle is called the Silver Mirage.
Ooh.
And he discovers that if you shoot the Marauders in the gut, it makes them take a nap. And so he, they discover the weakness. They start to exploit the weakness. Meanwhile, Cobra pulls the BET up to Serpentor.
This was a cool landing sequence. Like, this whole thing I thought was very neat. And, like, the sound of the tires meeting the runway, I thought that was very cool.
Serpentor lands his Raven. He hops out. I wish he would have jumped and flipped out all like Galvatron.
Well, I thought, supposedly the Transformers and the G.I. Joe teams were internally competitive, for making the movies.
Were they?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, with the Hasbro and Sunbow teams, the G.I. Joe and Transformers, they were they were pretty involved with each other. Like, they talked to each other, and I thought that if this was a nod to Galvatron, that it would be like Serpentor flying Destro or something.
He's just got his arms spread out, and Galvatron's hurling
Destro
him.
would totally do it too.
I did the Sergeant Slaughter and the Renegades, and then fucking Serpentor does his Little John impression here.
Meanwhile, Cobra pulls the B.E.T. up to Serpentor, and just in time for more Joes to show up and blow up his Raven.
Yeah, the Renegades.
Nevermore.
So, I had a few notes about the Renegades. Like, I've complained about how confusing it is to have, just brown-haired dudes in camo, just brown-haired white dudes in camo. But the Renegades and Rawhides, I get continually confused which is which. Yeah. It's just way too close. It's like
I did that while typing up notes.
As well. Me too. It's like having two guys in a movie named Mike and Mark, and then you add one named Mick.
It's like having two guys on our show out there named Mike and Mike.
It's true.
We should get rid of one of them.
Somebody's gonna.
Which one? Listeners, you decide.
It's a poll. But also, how did they get here? Did they drive?
Mike and Mike?
No, the Renegades.
That's all just virtual, right?
They drove all the way from the Himalayas. Drive, we're going to drive.
Well, no, the Renegades were in the desert.
But they were far enough away. They were just
they were in the
distance away.
They were in the. They were in Louisiana.
No, that's right. So they drove from Louisiana to wherever the hell this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know where this is. Serpentor mortars
Sergeant
Slaughter's
driving. That's
I know, that tiny little thing.
Everybody hungry? Want to stop at McDonald's? It's a Taco Bell. It's a Taco Bell.
What is it?
The Taco Bell Long John Silver's combo. Get whatever you want.
Oh my god. Hush puppies.
I'll cover the per diem.
And salsa.
I like to dip my chicken planks in my bean dip.
They don't have salsa at Taco Bell. They only have fire sauce, Diablo, mild.
I also like that both of our impressions have evolved into Mr. T.
I'm trying to find a thing for Aaron just running our buzzkill on that. Getting rid of the detail on the Taco Bell. Actually, they have fire sauce.
He did well, actually, us.
I mean, you guys don't know like I know.
Right. Taco Bell all day, every day for you.
Yeah. And if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, I did.
He's half the battle. Yeah.
Listen, guys, Serpentor is mortaring at this point. I don't know where that mortar came from, but it's functional and it blows up. What is Sergeant Slaughter's vehicle called again?
The Triple T.
The Triple T, and that I guess I didn't realize Falcon was riding with Sergeant Slaughter, or is that just Falcon's?
No, he was on the
Triple T. Oh no, they're in there together.
He was on the side of it because Falcon just fired.
He's the one that fired the rocket that blew
They should have died from that. They get fucked. Look at that.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the Triple T stays fairly intact, but the guys are thrown from it. What's the deal with vehicles that are you're just hanging out on? No protection, no nothing. You're just there. And
what is the deal
with
these vehicles?
They're all convertibles, but they're not convertibles. You're just outside.
Basically, so you can see the character.
Duke is here.
Yes. He rushes in to save Falcon.
Take a breath.
No, that's
Sergeant Slaughter. He's KO'd. And Falcon regains his senses relatively quickly. Duke sees what's going on here. He's going to go try and save his brother because Serpentor is approaching.
Yeah, and he hits him in the head with the butt of the gun where I'm like, you have a gun. That's not... Just shoot him.
You know what they should have done? They should have come to rescue this fortress with no weapons.
Mm-hmm. It's a challenge.
That would have been the way to do it. Serpentor reaches back, grabs one of his speary snake things. Like, as Ryan was saying, he takes a butt of the gun to his face.
You should have shot him right in the head, right?
That's what I just said.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit easier. They scuffle. Serpentor throws Duke to the ground. Serpentor picks his snake back up.
Super dramatic. Just fire everywhere.
Now, at this point, Serpentor says, Die arrogant Earth-scum.
Right. Yeah, it's like, why would he call him an Earth?
That feels like a line that would have been in Transformers, the movie.
Well, it also is like, are we meant to think Cobra Law are aliens? Is that the implication?
It shouldn't be the implication because they've given you no evidence.
No,
to
that
believe
wasn't clear at all.
Serpentor is certainly not an alien because he's made up of DNA from
humans.
Yeah, I thought they were just a competing hominid species that
Yeah.
were supplanted by humans. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I will say Falcon and Duke have some gorgeous blue eyes in this
They
scene.
do.
So Serpentor, he rears back. He wants to kill Falcon. He's sick of Falcon's shit fucking up his plans. He gets his snake, he strokes it erect, he chucks it, and it's going right at Falcon. But you know what? Big Brother Duke,
Gets in the way.
he steps in the way and takes
Oh.
it right in the
Wow,
heart.
lots of blood.
So
Like right from the get go. I mean, it's vermilion, it's explosive, it's right in his chest, and the animation of this part, I have to say, is outstanding. The facial expressions, the line work around his face, cheekbones, eyes.
I believe his eyes dilate a little bit. Yeah.
They do, yeah, absolutely, and just
Down he
it
goes.
looks real. It
Yeah.
looks very realistic. I guess, is this our moment of silence?
I poured one out for Duke.
So
Oh my God, this bit coming up right here.
Falcon
What-
is very he's very upset by this.
Yeah.
There, as the blood squirts everywhere, and I forgot to mention the music stops at that point.
Mhm.
There's some very action-oriented, patriotic, horn-based marching band GI Joe music, and then it just stops
right.
suddenly. Duke falls to the ground, and that's where Falcon just
Oh,
pulls
God.
the spike out of Duke's goddamn chest. I just noticed that as he throws the spike to the side, it gets a little wiggly.
It becomes a snake again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whenever I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, definitely don't pull that out, you fucking idiot. I cannot imagine there's anyone who doesn't know don't yank a giant spear stuck through somebody out of their body because they're going to bleed out.
Especially when it's thrown as a spear.
And in their goddamn heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. If not his heart, we were talking about this earlier. Certainly,
So
the
even
lungs.
in this very intense moment, Falcon is still screwing up.
Yes.
Yeah, well, right.
I guess maybe the impetus is that they didn't want to keep animating him with a spear in his body for kids to watch the spear bob up and down.
Exactly. And then Serpentor gets the hell out.
Serpentor takes off. Some giant
Mothra comes in to pick up the
is
B.E.T.
like a combination of a tarantula
And a moth.
and a moth.
I do like how it flies in backwards because that's a thing that animals can do, except for hummingbirds.
I think you could go follow that thing and shoot it down.
Yeah,
One would imagine. Great idea. That didn't even occur to me.
You'll destroy the BET, but
Well,
at
that's
least
true.
Cobra doesn't have it.
They should just destroy the B.E.T.
It's caused nothing but trouble.
Yeah, it's true.
Wasn't nothing. No, never mind.
Nothing but trouble in the movie.
John
With
Candy.
Dan Aykroyd.
John Candy shows up
Mhm.
in not one,
They just
not
wanted to
two,
go
but
on
three different
A
characters.
vacation. Chevy Chase and Demi Moore found nothing but trouble.
Let's do that movie next.
I haven't watched it recently. I bet it's bad.
Oh, I know it's bad. I remember how big a deal in my head when I watched that movie as a, we'll say, pre-junior high school student. I decided I wanted a Beamer, like a BMW, because at the very beginning of the movie, Chevy Chase's character pulls up, and Demi Moore, that's when I think he meets the Demi Moore character, and she's looking fine and foxy and has legs in this movie.
All the way
and
up.
she goes, ooh, a Beamer. And so in my head, my adolescent head, that meant Beamer equals girls like you.
Mhm.
And maybe
And
they
it
can,
became my brief, like, I want a Beamer someday.
if I have a Beamer, maybe they'll sell me alcohol.
At this point, Duke's not doing so well. A nice little, the animation's not the best, but they do have a nice little touch where his eyes gets wide as the information is delivered that Duke is in bad condition.
Mhm.
We cut to a scene, everybody's gathered around Duke. It's kind of sad.
Someone put the damn fires out.
That is true. Those are, I would call them raging still. But Duke is unconscious. Duke is sharing parting words with Falcon at this point. He makes Falcon promise to get his act together and be a credit to his country. Falcon says he'll do him proud. You know, there is no better active manipulation than a death promise.
Death wish, yes.
His wounds on the wrong
It's
side.
like-
Oh my god, I didn't notice that.
That's in the commentary. It switches sides. But yeah, it's like the beginning of the movie Oscar, where Sylvester Stallone is promising that he'll go straight to Yeah, Kirk Douglas.
Dr. Poole. Wait,
Finucci's in.
I love that movie.
It's great.
Let's do that movie next.
We keep saying that to all the movies we talk about.
We're gonna do Tombstone next because that is gonna be fun.
I don't have the connection to Tombstone.
Oh,
yet.
it's so
That's a
good.
movie. That's so good.
I mean, just everybody just likes Doc Holliday.
I mean,
Doc
without
Holliday,
him,
Doc
that
Holliday.
movie is significantly
It's trash.
destroyed.
But there's-
Yeah.
You're gonna say it's trash?
It's
Yeah,
trash.
not even the movie. It's trash, but somehow he brings light to that.
I don't
to
know. There,
everything in there.
everybody else delivers great performances. I feel like, but his is so captivating that it overshadows even the other great performances.
It is kind of a Val Kilmer highlight of his career, honestly.
It's a fantastic role for him.
So, Duke does his manipulation here, yeah. And of course, Duke's final words before slipping away into unconsciousness are, Yo, Joe.
He's gone into a coma.
So they say. And,
I can just tell.
and everybody's crying. The music is very sensitive.
I do like here Falcon pulls him up and hugs him like, yeah, that's great. Definitely if he's still alive, move him around a whole bunch. Move his neck.
God, these drawings are
They
still
need to
so
get him the
good
hell
now.
off the field with all the fire.
Yeah, they really do. That's not helping. I mean, there's fire within 5 feet of the body, of his body.
Well,
So Hawk tells Falcon they're going to do everything they can for Duke.
we'll do
Before-
everything we can for
Before turning to the camera himself.
directly down the barrel
Yeah.
to the camera, delivers a tearful Yo-Jo.
This is bordering fourth wall breaking here.
It's very soap opera like.
So-
it is.
So
It
name
might
should
as
be-
well
his
be
name
in
should
soft
be-
focus.
So we all know that Duke was supposed to die here. What changed that?
Great question.
I have some notes in the build decks and stuff, but basically it was the negative response to Optimus Prime.
Right.
By the way, that's the end of this minute.
Yeah, we decided to end right
Yo-Jo.
there.
Glad we
But
did.
yeah,
It's a good idea.
It was like Transformers was aimed at a little bit of a younger audience, and there's some argument that maybe an older audience could have handled Duke dying. Plus the fact that the Optimus Prime was the father figure and the only leader of the Autobots, so it had much more oppression. Duke was in the leadership structure, but there like General Hawk still existed.
Yeah. He wasn't as important.
Right.
Wasn't as much of as a figurehead.
He was still pretty important, though. I mean, he was probably the most popular G.I. Joe character. Would you?
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes was there's different camps. I mean,
They should make Snake Eyes leader. But he doesn't talk, so
Right.
people are always confused about.
About what they're doing.
Yeah.
I like Beachhead as leader. What are you doing?
oh God, be a terrible choice.
There's about the same as last episode.
We got some beef in the abdomen of this episode.
What does that mean?
Never heard that.
The back end.
What?
Let's break this thing open like a lobster.
Keep just start just
It's
please.
a bunch of non
Brian,
sequiturs.
just please start talking so he'll stop.
I
saying
just
it.
don't know what's happening.
I swear I haven't flipped.
I think he might have been having a stroke. Okay, so the Buzz Dixon commentary, he says, I'll grant you it's a movie and we wanted a big action sequence, but if it were this easy to destroy the Cobra base, why didn't we do it by now?
Right.
Yeah.
We know where it is.
Yeah.
They don't make it seem like it's a big active discovery. We just learned the Techno-Drome is in Baton Rouge.
That's all in vain, anyways, because they built a whole nother a huge panic room underneath it.
Tabasco.
Tabasco,
Jambalaya.
Creole shrimp.
Etouffee.
There we go.
Mardi Gras.
Hurricane cocktail. Okay,
I like the idea that Cobra just hits the party scene every fucking weekend. They would be very
Surely.
popular.
Maybe in New Orleans.
Dr. Mindbender.
Oh shit!
I want to wear that outfit on the walk.
Just walking down Mardi Gras, with your tits out.
Yeah. I blinked out on what's the Mardi Gras street called that everybody talks
Bourbon?
about? Bourbon Street.
It'd be funny though, if, on occasion scenes that they go back and like somebody's walking in, they just got a bunch of beads on them,
Yes,
and like a huge hurricane glass.
that would be funny.
But nobody talks about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just an
No, it's
everyday
just there.
thing.
Yeah, it's just there.
The unit guarding the B.E.T. are not technically Joes. He called them ND Joes, which stands for nondescript. Anytime there was like a random non-Joe, they would just have that standard uniform, which kind of to me looked like a UN peacekeeper.
I wonder if did they make a toy for that?
I don't think so.
MD Joe.
Yes, indeed, Joe.
Somebody make that profile. Get in the
Oh,
contest.
get in and get it out. Dick Gautier, who did Serpentor, couldn't reach that high-pitched trill that Buzz wanted. Now, my question is, didn't you include that in the script that it would be high-pitched? Like, it doesn't seem like he even tried. Like, hey, Dick, do a falsetto here.
Cobra la la la
I know.
la 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 la.
Like, a falsetto's not that hard. See, we can
I think
do
he
it.
just didn't want to do it. He was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Jake's
Don't
too
you know I'm
good
the
for
voice of Rodimus Prime?
No.
in the future.
That's right. So with Law, where they got shot down, Law says, "Man, who ever heard of being shot down by a salad?"
Yeah.
I
Which-
hate that line.
Well, Buzz Dixon says, "I like that line," and I hate it too because also like it wasn't remotely a salad.
No.
It was bugs shooting vines,
Yeah.
so I don't get it at all.
That connection is very loose.
I would have said, like, who ever get shot down by calamari?
That's better.
know,
Yeah,
it's
that's
better.
better. Way better.
Do it in
Nobody
a-
would get it. Okay. The reason that Duke knows the Marauders are weak on the underbelly is due to a previous scene that was cut for time where they discovered it. Which I'm like, that's a fine cut.
Does he go into any? I mean,
That's
it
it.
seems like a thing you'd try.
It was only 20 seconds he said they cut, but then also like it seems like you could cut other stuff like the 5 seconds they hang on that tank that's being shot at where nothing happens. But whatever. Buzz brought up to Sunbow and Hasbro that in all the time they've been doing a war show, no one has ever died, and quote, we really need to address that. And Duke was set to be dropped from the product line. Like you noticed, Caleb, the wound jumps back and forth from side to side on there. And then, oh man, this is where I'm like, Duke, Buzz, I like you. You seem like a nice guy. I think you're fun. But this little bit where he goes, after Scarlet says he's gone to a coma, Buzz delivers this quip that makes my asshole constrict. And here's what he says. He's gone to a coma. No, he hasn't. To paraphrase Monty Python, he's not in a coma. He's passed on. This Joe is no more. He has ceased to be. He has expired and gone to meet his maker. This is a late Joe. He's a stiff, bereft of life. He rests in peace. If he hadn't been dubbed in that line, he'd be pushing up daisies. His metabolic processes are only of interest to historians. He's hopped the twig, he's kicked the bucket, he's shuffled off this mortal coil, he's run down the curtain, and joined the choir invisible. This is an ex-Joe.
So he says that aloud in
The commentary. It's from a Monty Python, the parrot bit. So I hated that. I hated that he did that.
Well, that is a big preparation. My pre-prep is quips and just little turns of phrase.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as witty off the cuff as I'd like to be, and so there's nothing wrong. People have writers.
Yeah.
At least I'm my own writer. Shout out to Drake, who's not.
Shots fired.
Well, shot fired at Drake.
You don't have Bruce Valanche come in and do punch up on your scripts?
That'd be nice.
I'd love to get into some kind of
That's how bad I am. I want Bruce
web
Valanche.
fight with Drake.
Yeah.
People have been real upset that he's like hanging out with what's her face, Megan Thee Stallion. They're like, get away from him.
Who is that?
Megan Thee Stallion's a rapper.
So hang on a minute. People are
How do
upset
you
at
know
her
that?
and him.
Well, people are just like, get away from Drake. He's trash.
How do you know all this? You don't listen to music.
West, I have a girlfriend who does.
Okay.
Well, hang on. I want to get into this. I love Megan Thee Stallion, and I like Drake.
I think he's just
so
perceived as a fuckboy.
So this person's called Megan the Stallion.
Yes, she's a rapper. She's dirty.
Okay.
yeah,
But she's, fairly lyrical. She's got some skills. Good
She's
beats,
very
hot
attractive.
shit, and not ugly.
yeah, and so I think.
But
people
there's
are-
nothing wrong with Drake either. People that hate on Drake. I mean, this
I
isn't
think-
a hip hop podcast, but I like Drake.
I
down.
don't think the problem is Drake in and of itself. But I think the problem is that Drake's like a fuckboy, and they're like,
What is a fuck boy? I hate that phrase.
It means somebody who just is like a douchebag who, like I saw this video that is kind of the emulation of
What's
what a
an old phrase?
fuckboy is like, it's just basically somebody who, is just a piece of shit.
I've heard the phrase. I've always kind of associated it with douchery.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like Megan Thee Stallion and Drake, honestly, to me, that feels like a good pairing.
All right.
I support this.
I don't know anything about either one of them. Just delivering just spilling the
hot
tea.
tea?
That's right. Spill the tea, baby.
Okay. All right. Where the fuck were we?
I don't even know how we got here.
We're at the end of this episode.
That's right.
And you've delivered a script deviation.
So now it's time for
Iconic Joe moment.
Let's talk about this iconic moment. I failed to put one in here.
I do see that box is blank.
I have one.
I like the script deviation or the voice actors' other
Ryan.
fun details and iconic Joement are all blank boxes.
Yes, my notes page is a table. It's tabular, and I have titles for my sections. It's called being organized.
That's good. Glad-
And but yes, I wasn't organized enough to actually come up with an iconic Joement for this season or this moment. So
I noticed something. I'm just taking the opportunity in this section. It's not iconic. It's actually the opposite of iconic.
All right.
I took note of it. General Hawk.
anti-iconic.
Anti-iconic. I swear that at some point when Hawk is flying his aircraft, he goes, "Get hard, Joes."
Yeah, you texted that, and I don't know what you're talking
now
about.
we need to find it.
Hard on, Joes. We can't let them get their hands on the B.E.T.
Hard
He
on.
says- he says-
hard on.
He
Joes.
says pour it on.
He says, listen, hard on.
He says
Joes.
pour
Listen.
it on.
Hard on, Joes. We can't let them get their hands on the B.E.T.
Hard on.
He
Joes.
says pour it on. It does not sound anything like hard.
I'm with Ryan.
I thought he said hard on, Joes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have just watched this
No,
over and
we-
over back to 1 hour and 7 minutes because Caleb was convinced that General Hawk said hard on, Joes.
Hard on, Joes.
This
Which is a nonsensical
I
statement.
know, I thought it was strange.
it's a testament to you listening to a low quality version
not-
of the movie
no.
via the.
It's definitely
Twitch.
that, since both of us did not think that. It says pour it on. He clearly says pour it on, Joe's meaning the firepower.
Okay.
I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, hard on, Joes.
I mean, I don't know in what world that makes sense, but I appreciate your.
That's why I commented on it.
Okay,
All
good.
right. Mine was just like, he slipped into a coma. Voiceover is the unintentionally funniest line I've ever heard.
Well, I mean, let's talk about that for a second because that's obvious to me. Probably it's supposed to be the iconic moment. That whole sequence.
Yeah.
Is it iconic because we saw blood in a G.I. Joe?
It was a
movie
lot of blood.
for the first time. Is it iconic because they switched up what they were going to do? And if they had killed him, think how horrifying that was. You saw a man die just then.
I feel like they really did the opposite. Like, they took the information from everything they knew and made all the wrong choices. Like, they should have let him die. It's so stupid that he didn't die.
I'm not up on G.I. Joe canon. Do people die in G.I.
Man, I
G.I.
don't
Joe?
know.
Nope.
Sense
I
of it.
don't know about that.
I'm sure they die in the books.
Yeah.
I would think.
One thing about this moment is that it is very late in the movie.
It is. We're 2/3 of the way, at least 3/4 maybe of the way through here.
Yeah. It raises the stakes at a very weird time.
Mhm.
The pacing of it is really strange.
It is strange. Optimus Prime dies about 25 minutes into the Transformers movie, and we are an hour and 10 minutes in.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens next week, everybody.
Is that
2 weeks.
2 weeks, everybody.
This will be another situation where we're recording where I have to do a real quick edit turnaround, but that means you don't get to change anything I did.
I'm going to be in Mexico. If anybody has any Tulum recommendations, I'm there right now. So don't give them to me. Don't care.
I love Tulum. It's a great place.
Well,
weren't you just there?
people keep saying that.
I don't understand.
Melody put Instagram, I assume on Instagram, photos from our previous trip, but she indicated that it was a previous trip. And I look 3 years younger in these pictures. Anyway, they're on Instagram, and you're not the only person that's done that. Lots of people have been like, "Oh, how was your trip to Mexico?" So I guess at this point I need to fault my wife.
I think that she's clear. She can be to blame.
Okay.
I think people don't
I'll
really
get
read
to
the
it.
comments.
I don't read comments.
I'm going into Tulum. I'm going in.
I'm going in. Get hard, Joe.
Next week. We're staying on.
Hard on, Joes.
Yeah, you said get hard.
I messed it up. I mean, yeah. It's what do we got next week? 2 weeks.
Hang on a second. I just want to thank all of those who've been supporting us in the APDC store. we ran out of cup recruitment posters.
Oh no!
Yeah, but we restocked. I just want to let the world know.
Oh, you did another order?
We did a very small restock.
Oh, yeah.
But it seemed like the demand was there, so we did a little restock. We've got our APDC pin series illustrated by Ryan and myself, and we appreciate your patronage. Thank you guys for being interested in the artwork. More is on the way. Get it now. Supplies are limited. I would just like to remind everybody about the G My Joe challenge.
Yeah.
Go to what is it? Joe Customs.
Go to Joe Customs. Make a GI Joe file card. Post it on your Twitter. Tag hashtag G My Joe. Put us in there, and then flush it down the toilet.
Caleb invented this challenge
And hates it.
and abandoned it very quickly.
Cannot hate it more.
So please continue to listen, subscribe, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, tune in,
5 stars, please.
review, subscribe. There's also, of course, social media. Twitter is where we tend to be the most active.
Yep.
Facebook and Instagram, all of them at APodDcast. And the web presence, autopoddecepticast.com. Ryan, anything
There's
stand
going to be
out
some
as
stuff up there that I'm going to put, and it's going to be about General Hawk getting hard, apparently.
All right, taking off his clothes. Okay, peep the shop, check the merch. This is a great episode, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Ready?
Well, I
Go ahead.
did just because, you allowed me to say one dream. There was one other dream I had this morning that I thought was fun. It involved me. First, I was making out with Kim Fields, so that was awesome.
Who's
Coming
Kim
back?
Fields again?
Kim Fields is she was Tootie from Facts of Life, and she's on.
That's good.
You're talking about living single.
Yes, living single, thank you. And then shortly thereafter, I was in a grocery store and I got in a physical altercation with Bill Cosby. And then we knocked out a huge display, so I don't know how he was out of jail. And then the third component was I got a 147 out of 201 on a Fast and Furious internet quiz about their new movie where they all drive old VW Bugs.
This is a dream?
Yeah.
Wow, I love it. That's a cool dream.
You've always remembered your dreams.
Yeah,
in a way that
I make it a point to, if you just tell... I also...
Recap them once you wake up.
That, and before I go to sleep, I'm remember your dreams. And also, I wake up about 5 times a night. So if you wake up in the middle of it, that's the best to remember it. And then also, I try to lucid dream, which works not that often, but maybe once a year.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Define it. How do you make yourself do it?
Well, you know what it is. I'm sorry.
Oh, you are
I was
you're
about
aware
to
that you're awake in your...
You're aware
so how do you do it?
You're aware you're in your dream.
Basically, the easiest way to do it is to just, before you're falling asleep, as you're falling asleep, just be
tell yourself.
kind of think about something to do in a dream, think about logic, and then think about, you're about to be dreaming, I'm going to be awake in my dream, or I'm going to be aware in my dream. And it also, the best time to do it is during a nap, in the afternoon.
Huh.
Establish some triggers ahead of time that hopefully your subconscious will break. You're basically trying to plant some tools that your subconscious will recognize and will recall that tool. That, and then all of a sudden you're
right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sort of like Inception.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But then there are more times I'll realize I'm dreaming, but I don't get to the lucid point. I'll be aware I'm dreaming, but I don't flip over into controlling it.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Okay, I've had lucid dreams before, for sure, but mostly when I was younger, not really.
It's the best. I had one recently where I decided to start teleporting, and I teleported into it was a dream, not dream, because I was aware I was doing it, but I wasn't in control of everything. I teleported into my ex-girlfriend's bedroom where she had a group of people, and she was blowing a crack addict.
Huh. Did you control that situation? Were you I hate you. I'm
No.
going to make you blow a crack.
I just thought it was interesting. I was invisible. No, I didn't have control of that component, just me. And I was invisible, and then I was all right, I bamfed away.
Do you care to name this ex-girlfriend?
It was Sarah.
Okay. It's likely to be true.
Brussels, where we sell